that if we are competitive, so what happens in business? And sometimes you don't bring up these uncomfortable questions. You think everything's going to be hunky-dory. So why bring up a question which may generate an uncomfortable conversation? And we could have done that, but you would have hit that rough pocket sooner or later. So it was interesting. I don't know, in those days somewhere we had that wisdom to bring it up at the outset. And we created a system of sorts amongst us, which I'm not going to share here. But we confronted the possibility of us disagreeing and how we would handle in that case. And I think it's worked well.
I'll continue from there. 1997, as you remarked, and then coming into 2007, this particular decade has certainly been one very volatile for online business, e-commerce, and a big transition in a very positive stroke at some time, but it had its own share of the waves that came along the way. Now, when I take a look at your title, which says, "If I had to do it again," in your own words, what does it suggest about the means, the ways, the team? Could you kindly highlight, because the title seems to be something which is asking a question, maybe subtly. What would be those things that you're trying to focus at?
Sure. So while the title of the book is "If I Had to Do It Again," which talks about the HomeIndia story, the fact is that we did it again, which was a social wellness story, which has a much different ending than the HomeIndia story had. And some key learnings that I must share with all of you derived from the HomeIndia story. One is, of course, when you get into entrepreneurship, be sure that you have an ecosystem around you to support it. Your family must buy into the idea. When you get into a new business for 2 years, cash flows will not be there at home. So your family has to buy into the idea. You must be depending and going out on your friends and well-wishers and trying to extract whatever knowledge, information, business you can to kind of get going. You must have investors where there's a meeting of minds happening. And we are happy to have Ashok Bhai and Sandeep Bhai, and of course Jendra Bhai is not here, who really are pillars of support in that difficult point of time. So you need to have a great ecosystem around you to sustain you. Some of the key learnings, first was a key learning around hard work. 1997-98 was a time when we would be told that you require work-life balance. You must work till 6 o'clock, go home, spend time with family. But the fact is, in the life of an entrepreneur, there are only two phases. You are either sleeping or you are working. When you are not sleeping, you are working. When you are not working, you are sleeping. I mean, that is the definition of hard work. All the evenings you could get to go to see a movie or vacation with family is completely bonus. So it was a big learning. That is the kind of hard work we have to put in. When we did social wellness, would be up at night till 2 o'clock and 3 o'clock, and perhaps even do at this point of time 10 years into the business. So first, there is no substitute for hard work. The second is perfection is not important. At least personally, I've been like a perfectionist. Everything must happen 100% perfect. And then you realize that the cost of going from 70% perfection to 100% perfection is 10x. If 70% perfection costs you X, 100% costs you 10x. So it's okay to be 70-80% and use the rest of your time actually building the business. It is not necessary to be a perfectionist. The third learning was that revenue numbers are important. You cannot be missing targets. Sometimes as entrepreneurs, we tend to become generous of ourselves. Those guys bombed America, that's why economy is down, that's why my business will not work. Our businesses are so simple and so tiny that no global things are going to impact us at all. We need to be sure whatever goals and targets we set for ourselves have to get met.
I'll just pick up the point about family and support of family and the sacrifices that they need to make because of the kind of life or the kind of time that we invest as entrepreneurs. And interestingly, probably my writing the book inspired my wife to write a poem on the subject, and I'm going to take the liberty of reading it out.
Is your wife here with us?
Yeah, of course.
Let's draw attention to her. Where is she? Thank you very much.
So she wrote that it's about the book and the HomeIndia journey. She says, "Glad to have shared this journey, all the angst and thrills, victories and failures. It's been a fab journey. I brought up 2 babies, but this third was yours. Nursed her, nurtured her, led her by the finger till she grew. I spent time with our 2, nursed and nurtured them too. Yours was more demanding, as you spent long hours with her, struggling to get her on her feet. And somewhere, the family was split in 2. me and my daughters, you and yours. Yours was Lakshmi Saraswati Annapurna. She supported my home, taught us lessons in life, and even though she stayed away, was always there in our home. Her presence brought joy, happiness, money, fame, pride, direction, and learning. And my daughters brought love unconditional. Their presence lighted our lives. Their destinies entwined with ours. With their love, I needed nothing more. As peace, joy, happiness, fame, pride all followed, in each of their tiny achievements, learning to walk, their first words, prizes in school, drawings and paintings, cards for every occasion, handmade by them, we were a silent spectator. From time to time, I would add my 2 bits to our clueless upbringing of our third daughter. But as destiny steered her away to another home, leaving us sad in a void, richer by the learnings, experience, as every daughter you let go, we too cried when she left, blessing her in her new home.